Yeah.
All right, we in that thing. We in that thing. We live and in effect. The Just Going Sports Show. Audio every Friday night, 8 p.m. Anchor, FM, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank everybody for tuning in. Slide on over to the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share, like, whatever you got to do. Help us get this video out. It's the usual suspects, Dr. Producer, Juice Man, The Boogie, DJ King, Dre, and Breezy Dunn, and Big E on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in Studio 5. So what's up, man? Tell me something good, man. What y'all think about the Lamar Jackson situation? Like,
In a nutshell, it's a cluster. You know what? Where the beat button at? Beat. It's a cluster. That's what it is, man. Like I feel like Lamar. I think he did his just due to get his contract, but the Ravens ain't paying him. And I kind of feel like Greasy. He called it. He said Lamar Jackson ain't getting his money. It ain't gonna be in Baltimore. And sure enough, they franchised it. They franchise tagged him. And I don't know what else the man has to do in Baltimore to prove to them that he wants to be here. He wants to win. But as we all discuss, if you give him all the money, how are you going to help him? Giving him all the money is not going to help him be successful because he needs some help. He needs some better targets. He needs some better weapons. So y'all just have to make it make sense to me how paying him this large sum of money. We saw what that was in Green Bay. They gave Rodgers all that money, and what happened? So the floor is open. I'm done. That's my spill on it.
But see, what we fail to recognize is Aaron has a Super Bowl, at least one.
And but he ain't won a Super Bowl in 10 years.
But he didn't have all-star caliber receivers when he won it either.
Didn't he have Cobb?
Come on. Seriously, how many Pro Bowls Cobb made?
So name somebody on the Ravens roster at receiver that's better than Cobb. Was at that time.
No, but what I'm saying is it's the same quality of receivers. But Lamar, I mean, he's not a pocket dude. And the thing about it is that I think that's the only flaw in this game.
When you say that makes me think about Steve McNair, who got to a Super Bowl. That makes me think about Donovan McNabb, who got to a Super Bowl. Both of them are running quarterbacks.
But he was called Air McNair. Air. Keyword.
I mean, he could throw the ball. So you saying Lamar can't throw the ball?
No, all quarterbacks can throw the ball, but throw it with efficiency,
consistently.
Right read. That's what he's not doing.
And I think the reason the Eagles lost it. I think the Eagles lost the Super Bowl is because they tried to make McNabb some pocket passer, and he threw the ball like 50 times in that game. He was tired. He was gassed. You asked that man to do something he ain't never had to do in his life. Throw the ball 50, 60 times.
He wasn't gassed. It was that wasn't it.
You don't think so, bro? That man threw that ball. I think he threw the ball like 56 times.
I mean, that's fine. McNabb can throw the football. McNabb is a pocket passer. I mean, hell, even Montana was a scrambling quarterback.
Who could throw the ball as well.
Quarterback.
Steve Young was.
Steve Young. It's no excuses at the end of the day. You either got it or you don't. And when has Lamar made it to an AFC Championship game?
I mean, I hear you on that, but at the same time, like, there's so many quarterbacks that haven't made it to an AFC Championship game that's got a check, or an NFC Championship game that's got their money. So, I mean, I hear your argument, but I think if you put Aaron Rodgers on that Baltimore team, they're not going to the Super Bowl either. They literally have no weapons for him to use.
I mean, I've seen Aaron work without weapons.
Yeah, but you also seen Aaron work without weapons against a dysfunctional Minnesota franchise, a dysfunctional Detroit franchise, a dysfunctional Chicago franchise. They're not going up in the gauntlet against a Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are always going to be relevant. Well, Cincinnati, now that they have Joe Burrow, but even before then, they were still a playoff contending team damn near every year when they had Andy Dalton. So,
but you know what team Aaron has torched? with nothing on it to catch the ball, take a wild guess.
My Cowboys.
Exactly.
Yeah. but what are you saying there, though?
Exactly.
And even those years that he did, he still didn't make it to the Super Bowl.
So either Aaron Rodgers was that dude, or your Cowboys just suck when they play when they play
You
Green
can't say
Bay.
nothing if you're talking about the Texans.
I ain't saying nothing else about the Cowboys because eventually they're gonna get on one.
Yeah, they do. So it's just a matter of time.
I ain't saying nothing negative anymore.
But back to Lamar, I mean, he bet on himself. I think he did the right thing. I feel like there's some collusion going on amongst the owners because they've been very vocal about how none of the teams tended to like what happened with Deshaun Watson's contract, and they didn't want that to be the norm going forward. Seeing that Lamar Jackson is coming up to be paid, they didn't want that situation to become as big as it potentially could have. Now, I understand why Lamar wanted to bet on himself, and rightfully should have. But I don't think the Ravens were ever really intending to pay Lamar what market value is. They always wanted that hometown discount.
You know, New York just put the pressure on, right? Because ain't no way that man worth $195 million.
Well, it's inflated though. So the bulk of his contract is going to be paid out in the first 2 years. So basically, he's got a 2-year, $82 million deal. Now
he ain't worth $82 million.
No, he's not. Now, I mean, that's a whole nother argument though, because I think they dropped the ball on that. I would have just got his option, and then I would have signed Saquon Barkley for 2-3 years, and you would have saved some money. But now you got to pay a quarterback that's not proven 40-something million. But it still has no relation to Lamar Jackson's situation because this has been ongoing. They really should have re-signed him 2 years ago and extended him. But they decided that we're going to just let the cards roll, and see where it all ends up at. And ultimately, I think they're doing both a disservice because
Biggie,
now Lamar
you might be right. I think you're right with the collusion part because how the hell Daniel Jones get his share, get his money?
That's what I just said. Is you can't tell me that Daniel Jones is better.
But it's not just that though. It's how fast all these other teams came out and said they're not interested in Lamar Jackson. That need quarterbacks. That's what I don't understand. You know what I mean? They came out quickly and they were like, "Oh, we're not interested in them." And it's all teams that need quarterbacks. Falcons, Carolina, Washington, all these different teams that need Raiders, all these different teams that need quarterbacks came out and said that.
But as we discussed, which one out of all those teams, which one of those teams has a realistic chance of going to the Super Bowl with him at quarterback?
Washington. And before we jump into how many teams, before we jump into that, Scoops Gotcha says teams can't legally say they're interested until him. Right? Teams can't legally say they're interested in him until next week. Can't tell me there's 0 teams that are interested in him. And former MVP, Washington, Atlanta, Carolina, etc. So before we jump into that point, let me stop right there. I think that's a bunch of bull crap too. And the teams that are on that list that I'm looking at right now, there's a lot of incompetency on that team. We know what the deal is with Washington. I mean, like you had Taylor Heineke out there. He took him to the playoffs in 2020. You bought in another quarterback year again. You started off 2-5 with Rich. He comes in, he wins 5-6 ball games in a row. You top a third with the Giants. But then at East, you bring Rich back, and you fall completely out the playoff list. Incompetent. Atlanta, I don't know what they're doing. Carolina's been the best since Cam Newton left. I tell you what, like Shannon Sharp said, take that tag off of him and see who interested in him then. That's a bunch of bullcrap. They just can't say nothing right now. If you want to see what he worth, take that tag off of him. That's like the scoring boyfriend or the scoring girlfriend that know that you deserve better, but they just hold it on to you because they know there's something better out there, and somebody gonna scoop you up and take his tag. You see what I'm saying? That's why they tagged it.
But he was whole with the tag, Doc.
In this whole melee, I heard y'all talk about Daniel Jones. You know who I feel sorry for? Saquon Barkley. I feel sorry for Saquon. He just now coming back from injuries. He put up his first like Pro Bowl type season. They keep giving that dude the ball 300 times in about 2 years. He ain't gonna be worth nothing.
Yeah,
So
But the
that's
value of
franchise.
the thing.
the value of
And I'll
money.
tell you another thing too. Scoops made a good point too. Baltimore ain't stupid. You know what? You used to think you can lose 11. What you wasn't on to him for? And I bet you when they do trade him, he won't be in the SEC. Similar to Pittsburgh. He's so bad. Similar to Tennessee. He's so bad. Yeah. It's all a game, bro. It's all a game. Baltimore need to stop being so cheap. We just saw the Rams put all their eggs in the basket. They won the Super Bowl. They paid the luxury tax. They got the money. The money can't be found. Let them get to San Francisco.
Yeah, but all the teams
Okay.
you name, they're not gonna dump anything to get him.
Bring him to Miami with Tyreek Hill
That's
and
the
Jalen
way I
Waddle.
see it.
If I'm Miami, I wouldn't roll that dice. I'm gonna keep it 100 because now you're gonna run into cap problems. Why break it? Well, why try to fix it if it isn't broke? Basically,
Two of them broke himself.
It's broken in Miami.
no.
You can't invest that.
If
You
you trade,
can't that type of money.
you're gonna have to
Oh,
give
go
up.
ahead.
You're gonna have to give up a lot. Take some cap hits, and my thing is, if Tua could just stay healthy, you know,
It will, bro.
I know
That's
that's hard, but
that's the thing with Tua. He what 24, 25. He already had the thing in his hand. Say, bro, that's a lot of money to be. That's a lot to say. Like, okay, Tua, we're gonna hold on to you for 6 years, but you can't have one more concussion. Like that's highly unlikely.
Yeah,
Don't they have a
that's
concussion
impossible for that
limit?
to happen.
I wouldn't pay him.
Isn't there a concussion limit?
You have to though. He's up for his extension. He's got an option now, so he's in his option year. Yeah, they're gonna have to decide what they're gonna do.
Be up for options, and
But that's what I'm saying. Like that. So my thing is, I would rather move off of Tua, or even keep him for this one more year and go after Jackson, and then deal Tua out, something like that. But
yeah,
if with what they built in Miami, the time is now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got Waddle, you got Hill, you got a high-powered offense. All you need is that person to make it go. Tua made it go. Don't get me wrong, Tua made it go, but concussions are a lot different than lower leg injuries. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because a concussion will put you out for weeks and weeks and weeks at a time. You could still play on a lower leg injury. And to be honest with you, I think Lamar Jackson still probably could have played in the playoffs. But it's the fact that he probably felt disrespected by Baltimore for them not wanting to give him his money, or at least move the conversation forward. That he's like, look, I'm going to sit this one out, and y'all just try to win it without me. And I can't blame him for that. You know what I'm saying? He just came off an injury. And that's the ironic thing about it, is the injury that he got that put him out, he got in the pocket. He wasn't running when that happened. He got in the pocket. So it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't when it comes to that situation. But I think he gave everything he could to Baltimore. Say what?
No, he's doing all this without an agent. He's representing himself.
And I think that's part of the problem too. You know, I think even though there's been other players that represented themselves, I can't recall too many quarterbacks that didn't have an agent for this type of money that they're talking about doing. So I don't know if there was something that broke down in the talks between him and his mom, since his mom's kind of acting like the agent or whatever. But I think I feel like it's personal what's going on. It's not anything that's indicative of his play on the field or anything like that. I feel like it's personal. You know what I mean? And that's why they come to this impasse.
They're probably trying to say, hey, if we allow this to happen, then other people are going to start kicking the agents to the curb and representing themselves, and then we're going to have a whole crap storm.
Yeah,
it's not the status though. He doesn't have an agent. His agent is his T. Jones. That's like Charles Jones going up and saying, no. You know what I'm saying? We're going to back go and break it as $150 million, and now we're going to go find somebody else. And then Joe Blow come to the street 2 years now, or 5 years now, see how we do. Well, here's the agent's losing their 3%. They out of money. It's a lot of good old bad stuff going on. My boys say, anytime FC would immediately become championship contenders. It's easy in the NFC. So I see what he's saying with that. The AFC is definitely the tougher of the two conferences right now. But again, just think about it. Like with all this hoopla and all this stuff, like say, okay, send him to Pittsburgh, send him to Tennessee. We're doing here.
Yeah, I think what's
Mhm.
frustrating about Baltimore is that I mean, as soon as they put him in the starting lineup, they tailored their offense to what Lamar does best, and now they don't want to pay him. And maybe it's because they're afraid that he's going to get hurt. But and as far as the receivers, they don't have anybody that scares defenses. They don't have anybody that dictates coverages or anything. So it's
Mhm.
all Lamar or bust. And so Baltimore, they need to be careful, and I
Just a
really
good
think they
point.
need to go ahead and re-sign him, because if they don't, what are they going to do? So that's just my
Well,
See,
in the mock draft, they immediately looking at getting what's that guy's name from Ohio State? Not Marvin Harrison, Jackson. Oh God, come on, G,
Jackson
what's his
Smith
name, Boogie?
and Jigba,
Yeah,
Jackson
yeah.
Smith and Jigba, yeah.
So real quick, just think about this. We don't really necessarily need no answer. Who's that guy that Lamar Jackson has played with that like, okay, take the top off the defense? And I ain't talking about no 36-year-old, 37-year-old, too bad hamstring Deshaun Jackson. He ain't been there. You see what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
Jalen Hurts has been balling, but like Jalen Hurts really just took off this year because
he got AJ Brown.
he got AJ Brown and he got a just to be blunt, a damn good offensive line. You
Yes,
see
sir.
what I'm saying? And I read Big E was saying it wasn't production to me. He got hurt trying to stay in the pocket. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's what that is on that Lamar Jackson situation. I hope the brother get it worked out. Baltimore needs to stop being so cheap. And
Yeah,
Dak,
man.
and Dak said he wanted out in Dallas. And Jones, I bet you Jerry Jones find a way to get him. Like pay the luxury tax. It's the reason why the Warriors kept winning all them championships. Like they couldn't afford all those players and KD and all that. They just paid the luxury tax. Stop being cheap, man. So you let that dude go up out of there, and you're not getting nothing for him, and then you're another. And like I said, send them to your next door neighbor. Send them to Pittsburgh. I bet they won't. Somebody lose their job. Whole front office lose their job and let the dude walk up out of that door and he go to Pittsburgh. He kick their tail for the next 6 years. They ain't stupid.
Hey,
It's a game.
doesn't his
But
mom
we're
make?
gonna keep it short. That was
Doesn't his
just a little
mom make?
section we wanted to tell y'all about. But like I said, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on that YouTube channel. If you see us on the Facebook page, smash that Facebook page, follow us on over there. Just Throwing Sports Show. Now, I know this is one of King Drake and Greedy topics right here, man. And we've been just chatting it up about this. King Drake went live with this dude. Greedy wanted to talk about it Saturday. That's my fault. We were going to do this. Some I had some technical difficulties. And usually with a story like this break, we'd be like, hey, let's do it, let's do it. But I always be like, hold on, because it's going to get better. John
Yeah, it got
Morant.
better. All right,
50
it got better.
games. 50 games. Man, I'll go ahead, man.
I don't even feel
I didn't see
sorry
what
for
I
him.
had to say, man.
So basically, that's the rest of this year. What they got 18, 16 games left, and
And
uh,
almost a
to the
third of
All
next
Star
year.
break of next year.
Hey man, let me say this one quick time. What a dumbass. That's all I can say, bro. I'm sorry. This is an example of when keeping it hood when I don't have to goes wrong. Look at that, y'all. Y'all see that right there? Shout out my man Robert Bailey for chiming in and tuning in. We didn't forget about you. But y'all look at his face. That's what a rich dumbass looks like. Because I can't cut him no slack, bro. I can't cut him no slack, man. Somebody was trying to make an excuse for him. Hey, man, this man didn't. They say he didn't commit a crime, and this is what my response was. You're right. He didn't commit a legal crime, but the crime that he did commit was all the people, all the kids that's looking up to him and wanting to be just like him and wanting to do what he do. That's the crime he committed because he let them people down because he trying to do something he don't even have to do. He make too much money to even be involved in anything retarded like this. Too much money. That's what you pay people for, bro. You pay other people to slap the shit out to slap the hell out of people. That's what you do. You pay other people to do that for you. You pay other people to tote guns for you. Hired security. I'm done. I'm godly, man. Man, just mute my mic, man. God, it's terrible, man. It's terrible,
what doesn't this young man have a father?
Yeah,
is this the same father that came to defense with him when Uncle Shay?
Man, he didn't want that.
I'm gonna need for Pop. Nah, I'm going a whole different direction. Hold on, y'all done woke Greasy up out here today. I'm gonna need for Papa Morant to do his damn job.
Exactly.
Yo, do his damn job. The hell you doing? Pick up games with nobodies to where you are toting guns out here. Come on, Papa Morant. Or were you around when he was growing up, man? Nah, this is unacceptable. Y'all don't get me fired up in here tonight.
Hey, man, I am fired up, man. That's like Stephen A. said. You got to be that man. You got to do your job, Papa. Ain't no way in hell my son making millions of dollars and I'm going to let him act a damn fool. Nah, brother, I'm still daddy. I don't give a damn how much money you make.
And then you're going to post a pic with you and the gun on, bro, man, let me do the hokey pokey, turn myself around. You know what the hell going on out here?
And the biggest thing is they're forgetting all the people that disagree with how they treating him. You got to forget he works for the national basketball. He works for the NBA. He don't work for himself. He represents the national basketball.
He works for the Grizzlies.
Good Lord.
And Silverman works for the owners.
He represents. What do they say in the NFL? You represent the shield. And here's another thing I'll point out. Y'all remember Sam Hurd?
Oh, you talking about that?
So watch this.
How about this dumbass wide receiver?
Watch this. Sam Hurd ain't played football in 10. Hold on, my bad. No relation at all. He ain't played football in 10 years, right? And the first thing you read on the headline is ex-NFL player, Cowboy, Sam Hurd is released from prison. This man ain't played in 10 years yet. He's somehow still tied to the NFL.
I wonder if he's still. I wonder if he was catching balls in prison.
Boy, was he catching them with his hand or was he catching? Never mind.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's a sad day in America right now that somehow we can't seem to get it together when it comes to things of this nature, the financial side and how to the financial literacy, taking care of your money and being smart and paying attention to those that came before you and seeing the mistakes that they made, the moves that they made. Like Stephen A. told him, hey, man, you need to go talk to Allen Iverson. That's who you need to go talk to. Because he said there was some similarities. And there's a lot of similarities to Allen Iverson and Ja.
I think it's more similar to Javaris Crinty. Got caught up with the gun. And who else was toting the gun?
Gilbert Arenas.
Oh, yeah. Gilbert Arenas. He had gas in the locker room.
Them boys ain't been back since.
But it's not really about the guns. It's about the way Iverson was moving with his homeboys, his posse, and we ain't gonna wear this. That's why they changed everything. The braids, the baggy clothes, the hip hop, all that.
Is his father acting like his homie?
I don't think Allen Iverson's daddy was.
No, I'm talking about Ja's dad.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, think about it. How in the world is his daddy getting into it with other players' fathers? Like the whole stuff with him and the Ball dad, LeVar Ball, getting into it, and him and Shannon Sharp getting into it. It's bad energy, and somebody got to be smart enough to say, you know what, son, I can't allow you to risk it all for these.
Where are they from?
Hey,
South Carolina.
Oh, that's how they roll.
Hey, from private school. From private school. From I ain't grew up in the hood. From I don't know nothing about government cheese. From I ain't never had food stamps. From I ain't never had to wear my cousin's clothes. From 15 people wasn't sleeping in the same room because we all had to shack up at the same house.
But he thugging though. He thugging. Keep thugging, baby.
I don't want to hear nothing about, man. He live in Memphis. I bet he don't live in the hood in Memphis. I bet he don't.
No, I say keep thugging because it's gonna either be death or prison. Keep thugging.
You ain't got to live in the hood for that trouble to find you, though.
That's right. Real talk.
It's true.
I mean, I don't have a problem with him carrying the strap. I have a problem with him brandishing the strap. That shouldn't have came out. Like, if you want to carry it for your protection, that's fine. But you also got to abide by the NBA rules as well. And then you clearly broke the rules because you were out of town at an out-of-town game, and you carried it with you, and you can't have it a part of your luggage. Now, if you flew private or whatever to the game, you left private, then you didn't technically break any rules. But that being said, you still got to be smarter with how you act. And it's really not this last incident that without him with him showing the gun, that's what I have a problem with. Him having the gun, I don't have a problem with. But it's his behavior before that led it to be a bigger issue than what it should be. You know, what I mean? Everybody's got the right to defend
slap a 17-year-old?
Yeah.
Wasn't a gun pulled out then in that whole situation?
That's supposedly the case. You know, that's what they're investigating. Bro. So, I mean, that's my thing, though. It's like
17-year-old. He must have been.
Why not? I get where you coming from. He has the right to bear arms and all that. I'm cool with that. But I make a gazillion damn dollars. I can hire a whole damn security staff that can have all kind of guns. Why do I need one? Why do I need protection when I got 6, 7, 8, 9 people over here with guns that are paid security to do just that?
I'm gonna keep it.
Sometimes you just can't trust people. Even if that's in your entourage. So I'd rather have my strap with me, even if I do got 10 people.
Well, he needs to change. He needs to change his entourage, man.
Now, you know what the problem is?
He needs to change his circle. Whoever is in his circle.
Yes, he needs to change his circle. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter necessarily who's in his circle per se if they have ill intent. You see what I'm saying? Like, if somebody in your circle, even if they are hired help, they're security, if they're in your circle and they have some type of ill intent against you, they could be the one to set you up. How many times you see people get set up by people that they know all the time? Exactly. So that's not a definitive foolproof plan, is what I'm saying. So that's why I don't have a problem with him having to strap himself.
But you know what? He don't even need all that, fellas. He don't even need.
How the hell is he going to the place?
I'm gonna tell you what he needs. Jesus. He need a woman, because that woman gonna make him sit his ass down and make him act right.
He had a woman for a while, and she was what? Late 30s, early 40s, or something like that. Ain't settle him down.
Hold on, what?
Yeah, he was dating somebody that was.
I didn't say he needed a mama. I said he needed a woman.
But yeah, I'm saying though, it don't get much growner than 30, 40. You know what I'm saying? You done been through some things.
Hey man, they past their prime, man. Ain't no value on no 30, 40-year-old. That's y'all, no.
Hey, stop. I see where you going with that already. Stop. Yeah, I already know where you going.
But he need a woman, because
somebody with some common sense, man. It's like we can't. It's like I grew up in the hood. I grew up around in non-hoods. Like, you don't have to keep it hood all your life, man. The goal is to get out of this. I don't want to continue down the same path I was on when I was 17 years old. All right. I'm sorry. That makes zero sense. So if I'm supposed to get away from this nonsense, why do I make millions of dollars only to come back to the foolishness? Why am I putting myself in an environment where it's somebody that don't like me because I made it out, or I think I'm too good, or whatever the hell it is they want to attach to me, and I'm gonna go back over here where the haters are. They hate me. Everybody don't like me. They hate me. Somebody gonna hate you because you successful.
Can we put that picture back up with him and the piece and the gun? I got to see this woman. Now, does he wear this grill during? He don't wear the grill while he hooping.
I hope not.
I see the piece. Yeah. All right, that's all I need to see. Yeah. He want to be a thug. He want to be a thug.
I didn't work my butt off to not be called a thug, only to go back to putting myself in a situation to be called a thug again. Because I've been called a thug. I've been called all kind of crap.
Because that's what they gonna call us.
And you
That's
don't
a
even.
big
And the
call.
sad part was you don't even know me. You don't know nothing about me.
Perception is everything.
You don't know anything about me. But the funny part was when I did get called, that's a bad guy. It's a bad character. You don't need to be around him. I'm laughing because the person that I was with was into way more stuff than I was into.
Mm.
He's doing way more than me, but I'm the one that he don't need to be around me. Nah, I don't need to be around him.
But I
But
will say this. I hope he enjoys suspension because my Lakers got on them boys. We the number 9 seed. Hey, I think Doc called this one. And Juice, I think Juice, you gonna eat crow. Because Doc told you, them Lakers. So you better be ready, Juice, because you know they're not gonna get you. You know you're gonna get you. So you
We'll see that. We'll see about that. See about that.
John even from the hood. And he went to like a private school, so they did the whole 8 Mile thing on him. They didn't expose him. So Josh just need to sit down somewhere. And we had a whole show on it about the Memphis Grizzlies and why they wouldn't win the NBA championship. Have anybody ever seen an NBA fall from grace? Like they was like if that wouldn't have got hurt last year, I could have took the Warriors 7 games. And here we go this year. Like if the Grizzlies can just stay mature, they could maybe be back in the Western Conference Final. And this thing could possibly be over with by next year. Like it's another thing too with the whole John Morant situation. Like he's in position to have himself as being like one of the two top three, four, maybe five faces of the NBA because LeBron and Clay, KD, that era's finna go. And after that, it's going to be Giannis, Luka,
Mhm.
Joker, Ja, and Zion. And Zion can't stay healthy. So this dude is literally looking at easily mess up $500 million. You see what I'm saying? But more importantly, uh, I listened to the Bomani Jones show, and he just made it clear, like, you better sit down here in Texas. You ain't got to be in Los Angeles. You ain't got to be in Memphis. Pull a gun out up here in Dallas. Or just be showing around here in Dallas, and they know you got a gun. Or down there in Houston, they know you got a gun. Well, they going to bring it to you. So John need to chill. I hope he get it together.
see
And that was very, very foolish, and that was very, very ignorant on his behalf. But that's enough about John. We're gonna see what it do. Hope, like I said, hopefully the young man can get together. Scoops jumped on in and he jumped right on. We're gonna have to get Scoops on, man. He's a Chiefs fan. He's a regular fan. He always mess with Greedy, man. Right? He always got something to say to Greedy, man. I don't know. We're gonna have to set this up, man. He be coming for you, man. Like I noticed that, man. The boy Greg Lindell, he be coming for you, man. Like for real. I like that interaction. Thank you,
that boy
Shane
is
Brown,
like
homie.
peanut butter.
he said, yeah, I know every day.
Um,
I ain't tripping. But the boy balling. He balling,
Yep.
He
And
balling
I'm
right
gonna tell
now.
you.
That's for sure.
for the
Hey,
Lakers to
you gotta
jump
look at it
from
like this. You
12
gotta
to
look at it
9.
like this with AD. All they really need from AD is about 30 more wins. That includes the playoffs. They got what 16, 17 games left. Well, they need about 34 wins.
Oh,
Because
you talking about a title? LeBron?
yeah, 16 wins get you to the title, baby. You know
Who
what I'm saying?
can
And
beat the Lakers when LeBron come back? Because they ain't beat
really,
no powder puffs.
really, Phoenix is looking tough right now, and I expected that. So I feel like that might end up being the matchup.
I'm gonna tell you what's
Depends on
gonna
if they
happen
meet in the
though.
second round, though.
Chris Paul gonna get hurt.
I ain't wishing bad on
Hey,
nobody,
Chris
man.
Paul
I
gonna
want to
get
see
hurt.
everybody
man, why
healthy.
would you say
Man,
that,
Trey
man?
always
Chris
wishing.
Paul
Oh
gonna get hurt,
man,
man. Watch.
Hey,
don't say
Doc,
that, man.
Man, why would you?
It's
Man,
gonna
wishing
happen.
man, why would you?
I'm gonna
Hey,
tell
but
you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because we had a chance to put Golden State out, and we couldn't close them out, and we definitely would have closed them out if Chris Paul had not have been hurt. How you up 15? We was up
So,
15. Chow, chow, chow,
Hey,
chow.
so,
It's a
Chris.
wrap, game
Hey,
6.
Chris
We
Paul's
so,
lost.
not gonna have
so,
to do with.
so,
He's not gonna have to
so,
do with much time.
so, so, because of what happened in Houston, you think he gonna get hurt this year?
No. Watch this. What happened in Phoenix?
Yes. You got to say that was a very bonehead point. He mad at the dude for what he did to Houston
7 years
instead
ago.
of being mad at Daytona being made to shoot all them 3 pointers. He should have stopped after they were on 12. Daytona should have pushed 15 more. That's on Daytona. But we
But just follow it though. He got hurt in Phoenix too. He got hurt in Phoenix.
you just break down the altercation between Kendrick Perkins and apparently, Kendrick Perkins thinks that the racist voters in the NBA are voting for Nikola Jokic over Joel Embiid.
Hold on. Say what?
And they got into it. And they got
Yes.
into it.
Yeah.
And Perk had some reports. We're going to read a little sound bite. This is what he had to say about it, bro. This is what he had to say about it.
Yo,
Well,
I don't hear nothing.
yeah, technical
I
difficulty.
guess it messed up. I thought I had some audio, but I guess that messed up too. But anyway, he was saying like he was basically saying like he was racist, and Perk kind of had him flustered, and that was a kind of interesting comment and a little kind of back and forth they had going on. Jokic is doing what Jokic is doing.
Mhm.
I mean, at some point, like we just got to realize this dude balling. I mean, he's on his way to being the third time in a row MVP, so we just got to get this dude his props. I don't think it's going to translate in the NBA playoffs, so we can have all the regular season MVPs and type things like that he can muster. It's just not going to translate. Like I'm an Embiid dude. I didn't see Embiid give him 48 when he saw him head to head. So I kind of agree with Perkins got to count for something. And JJ was like, no, it's not racist. But Perkins was like, y'all gave Russell Westbrook all kind of trouble when Steve Adams got out the way and let him get that rebound for number 10. But they do the same thing for Jokic or cutters intentionally cut a little bit harder or they intentionally run to the free throw line so he can get his assist and nothing is being said. I don't think it's terribly racist. And I don't think they're intentionally like voting for Jokic because, he looks like 80% of the voters. But I just thought there was a little interesting dialogue. I wish I had that audio excerpt set up for y'all, but something is going wrong with my microphone and stuff. So that's where I'm at with that, man. I thought that was a pretty good back and forth between them two.
He
I
was
mean,
right about one
you
thing
would.
though. There's no way in the world Steve Nash should have won. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You could. That was definitely Kobe's chip to win. He should have won that, hands
What
down.
Kyrie tell Nash where Kobe trophies at?
Come on, bro. There ain't no way. Steve Nash, you saying Steve Nash won the MVP over Kobe Bean Bryant? Just think about that for like 2 seconds.
I think the bigger question that needs to be asked is why are these voters so fond of foreign players? Because they are not giving any cachet ever since Westbrook got his, Harden got his, and Durant got his, Curry got his. Ever since then, it's just been straight foreign players. That you don't even have American players finishing in the top 2, 3 anymore. You know what I mean? When obviously there are some American players that could. So I think there's this amongst the voters. I think there's this underlying vitriol towards American players and how they play the game now, and they're trying to shift everything towards foreign players as they're the premier, perennial powerhouse of what NBA basketball should be going forward. And I think that's what they're trying to establish.
I also think a lot of the voters are into the whole thing about analytics, and they see Joker's numbers, and they're basically judging him comparing to other players and their numbers. And I mean, I think that has something to do with the voting. And I also think that, you know, Perkins was a journeyman big man. Um, and I sometimes think he's a little bit envy or jealous of Joker because he's a big and he's, you know, he's making all his teammates better. I mean, he's not flashy. We see what he brings to the table, but I mean, he gets it done. And I don't know. I just think that when I hear Big Perk talk, he just sounds ignorant a lot of times. That's just me. But
Yeah, he'd be real aggressive too, man. But let me ask y'all this question, man. One time, um, when you think MVP, what does MVP mean to you?
Most valuable player, not necessarily the best player. Like I always thought that during the Golden State Warriors run, that second run when they added KD, that KD was the best player, but none of it would have worked without Curry. So therefore, Curry was the most valuable player. You
So
see what
can
I'm
I
saying?
ask you this, Doc, on
Yeah.
your take? If you took Curry off of that team, would Golden State still have won? You
Because it
don't
doesn't
think
work.
so?
No, because the whole thing with Curry and that particular thing was you had to pick up Curry at half court, which is why there was so much space. Maybe Dame Lillard it works, but with a point guard like Iverson, no, it doesn't work. You see what I'm saying? A point
So
guard like Penny Hardaway, no, it doesn't work as well. I'm not gonna say it's not gonna work at all, but it doesn't work as well. Magic Johnson, it doesn't work as well. You had to you literally had to pick up Curry at half court, and sometimes you had to throw a trap at him, which left Clay and KD just like wide open. So you see what I'm saying?
well, my thought on MVP has always been if you took this particular player off of that team, what would this team do? Could they still make the playoffs? Could they still get to the finals? And that's how I kind of see the MVP. If you're gonna pick somebody, like if we took Embiid off of the 76ers, would that 76ers team still be in the top? Would they make the finals? Could they make the playoffs?
No, no. I would say it like
Same thing
this:
with Giannis.
if I would say it like this, if you took Curry off the 17-18 Warriors,
They still making the
they
playoffs,
pretty
bro.
much they pretty much cakewalked everybody. So there was no real challenge out there. But they don't. I don't think. I don't think they beat Cleveland
They're
without
making the
Curry.
playoffs. They're making
They
that team
did.
is still going to make the playoffs without
Yeah, it's
Curry.
still gonna make the playoffs, but do
So
they? Do they just? I mean, they just demolished everybody. You see what I'm saying? So they probably maybe the Portland team, maybe Portland gets 2 games from them instead of 1, but I don't think they beat the Cavaliers, and I definitely know they don't beat them 4 games to 1 and sweep them the next year without Curry. You see what I'm saying?
take Dame Dollar off Portland. Portland don't make the playoffs.
Portland don't make the playoffs, but at some
Right.
point, Dame,
So,
but at some point, but at some point, Dame is gotta
he got to get the hell
like
up out
he's
of Portland. But
basically.
what I'm trying to say is when they're choosing the MVP, that's my criteria for choosing the MVP. If you got 5 people, you got us 5 up here. Okay, we got to go. Okay, we took Doc off his team. Juice, like which one of these teams are gonna make the playoffs or win the finals if either one of these guys weren't playing? Like you don't give the MVP to the guy that scored the most points or averaged the most triple double. That don't have nothing to do with being an MVP. Most valuable player to that team.
To
That's
their
just
team.
me.
I get you. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. So if I was saying most valuable player to their team this year, yeah, I would go with it's basically it's Embiid, Joker, or Giannis. I mean, either way. I think Embiid is I'm a Robert Perk on this one. I think Embiid can shift the dynamic of a series with his defense. Not so much Jokic.
Yeah.
Giannis can switch the momentum of a series with his defense. Remember the block on Aiden? Get that out of here. You see what I'm saying? With his defense, not so much Jokic. And at some point, like we're gonna wait and see what it do. Like we saw what happened to him last year. Golden State ran circles around him. Like he needed oxygen, Gatorade, Powerade, and everything else. Like they just ran his big butt to death. He couldn't keep up. And at some point that became a liability for him. I mean, I'm just an Embiid guy. I'm a Giannis guy. I don't got nothing against Jokic. I mean, Jokic. I mean, the dude is shooting 63% from the floor. 63%. So he hitting almost 6 out of 10 shots. So he'll give you a bucket. So
Oh yeah.
that's where we at with that one.
I don't know, man. I think it's just to me the main issue is the fact that he's not there defensively like a Giannis and MVP. So when I think of MVP, I think of somebody that does it on both ends of the floor. And I don't have any issue with him being in the hunt for it, but I think Embiid and Giannis have played a lot better on the defensive side of the ball, and I think that's why they should get that nod ahead of him. So,
Yeah, I agree with all you guys, especially what you said, Dre. As far as if you take this one player off that team, how would the team do? I also think of an MVP as they make their teammates better. Um, so, but yeah, it's really a toss up between Giannis, Embiid, and Joker.
I apologize for my microphone. I hope it sounds a lot better. I think I gotta shorten this thing, and I haven't really been using this microphone that long, but it is what it is. We're about to wrap this thing though. Juice Man, what's the story of the week, my brother? What you got going on? Let's talk about
Yeah.
the story of the week.
Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff still going on, especially in the NFL, even though it's the off season. Um, so wide receiver Calvin Ridley was reinstated uh, this past Monday. Um, so he has a chance, he's given another chance pretty much after being suspended for gambling. Um, he made a statement in a Players Tribune articles. He said the following: "I messed up. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I made the worst mistake in my life by gambling on football." Um, so his reinstatement became a reality due to a trade. So Atlanta and Jacksonville uh, got a trade, uh, 2023 fifth round pick, which is conditional. So basically, if Ridley makes the roster, Atlanta will receive a fourth round pick, and if he plays enough snaps, he'll get a third round pick. And if the Jags sign him long term, Atlanta will get a second round pick. So I think this move will help the development of Trevor Lawrence. They just came off a playoff run. I know they came up short, but their offense was pretty good. Ridley, and he's had 28 touchdowns in 49 career games played. He's just 28 years old, so he's still fairly young. And I think that he's going to make Jacksonville even better in 2023 if everything works out. So,
No, I hope he slides on in there and make amends. I don't think he personally. Me personally, I don't. I mean, it's a lot of things worse that was going on. I mean, I don't think they should have suspended him at all. A nice weapon for Trevor Lawrence, yeah, but we're gonna see. I'm still not sold on Trevor Lawrence. Like we made a whole show about Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's studying his playbook either. Like they try to make like Justin Fields
Jacksonville
can't
will
read the
not make
defense.
the playoffs. Jacksonville will
Yeah,
not.
they ain't gonna do nothing. They ain't
They
gonna
play
do
the
nothing.
first place
they're not
schedule.
going to do nothing.
He ain't gonna
You
do
take
nothing.
a step back.
Looks like Greasy ain't gonna do nothing.
Nah, you
They
gonna
ain't
play
going to
them.
do nothing.
See, they play the last place schedule, either last or third.
Okay.
Place.
Okay.
I think they did finish behind Houston, But this year, you won that division. Come on back down to reality.
Yeah,
I mean, come on back.
yeah.
Who gonna beat him in the division though?
Tennessee.
Tennessee ain't got a quarterback.
Tennessee ain't got no quarterback.
Yeah.
Send Lamar Jackson there.
Tennessee does have a quarterback. And
Ryan
I've been
Tannehill?
waiting to get him on the field, a little rook.
Malik Willis.
When they put him on the field, he looked like he needs some more time.
Yeah, Malik Willis.
Look, Malik
like
gonna get a whole training camp. Me and Juice did this on Rewind many nights.
Yeah, sure did.
And I said it to y'all, pull that boy from A&M out of there is gonna continue to be what it is.
We're gonna see.
I predicted that loser streak, and that's what it came to be. That's how they got up out that thing.
We're gonna see.
Malik gonna have a whole training camp. What do they have before training camp?
OTAs.
OTAs. He gonna go through all that. Malik gonna be ready, baby. Malik gonna be ready.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, you down there throwing interceptions left and right, and they giving you all type of Gatorade and Wheaties commercials and all that. Every time I looked up, you were running for your life and throwing bonehead interceptions. I don't see what all life is about it.
But I say the key to Jacksonville's success is they got Doug Peterson, and Doug Peterson is a hell of a coach.
Then why ain't he still coaching in Philly?
Philly made a whole bunch of moves that I didn't understand. Philly made a whole bunch of moves that I didn't understand, though. And I think it was more of a personnel issue and direction for the organization is why that ended up falling short like it did. But Doug Peterson can coach.
Let me ask you a question, Big.
He took Nick Foles to the damn Super Bowl.
Let me ask you a question, Big.
Yes, sir.
What if Lamar Jackson went to the 49ers?
Hey, can you imagine him and Debo on the field?
I would be very, very happy for Lamar, but I'd say my Cowboys about another 15, 20 years out.
Oh, man. Nobody wants to see that, man.
I'd love for it to happen, though. I ain't gonna lie.
You know what I was thinking?
I just want Lamar to go somewhere he's appreciated, man. I don't feel like Baltimore. That's about it.
I like the little pause when the question finally came back. You had to think about it for a second. It was like, man. You know what I was thinking about today, though? This is contingent upon them getting rid of Josh McDaniels. The Raiders. Come on, man. Devontae Adams.
3-14 this season.
Devontae Adams.
Aaron Rodgers, we're gonna finish 3-14.
You got Devontae Adams, top 2-3 receiver in the league. We know what Chase doing. We know what Jefferson doing. But as far as route running and catch radius, there's none better than Devontae Adams. You got probably top 2-3 tight end in the league. Waller, when he on point. You got Jacobs. You got a good offensive line. You put Lamar Jackson in that thing. Get rid of Josh McDaniels. After that, you just go get you 6 or 7 pass rushers just finna get after the quarterback.
It's a wrap.
Hey, I made
Come on, man. But Josh McDaniels got to go, man.
He should have never been hired.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He should have never.
He should have been put on the "you cannot hire this fool no more" list after he pulled that okie doke with Indianapolis.
Man, look here. He said
he was a playoff team like Denver and ran them in the ground. I mean, come on. This is track record.
Our boy Scoop said I stopped watching football and Lamar Jackson went to San Francisco. Debo, Lamar, Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey. Come on, man. But knowing Kyle Shanahan, he'll get him hurt by week 8. So
gonna run the hell out of him.
You're gonna RG3 him.
RG3 him. RG3 him. But that's a wrap for this episode of the Just Knowing Sports Show. We always try to plan out something on our show, but it seems like something always come up, but we end up jumping back in this thing, and we end up doing something a little different. Like I was like, no, I don't want to talk about no football. It's football. It's basketball season. We need to get on this March Madness and all that stuff. Then the Ravens was like, we finna tag Lamar Jackson. Then John, I think we kind of felt something bad was finna happen to John. But then when he pulled out that we had the gun out there, it was like, oh, he had a gun, and it then dawned on me that he was in Denver, Colorado, not in Memphis when he pulled it out, and he broke a federal law. It just didn't dawn on me. So he better get with his homeboy and be like, hey man, tell him you drove it or something. He better figure out something. Cause I mean, whatever. And last I read that like I guess the authorities in Colorado really don't have a case on it, but it doesn't supersede the NBA code of conduct. But at any rate, that's a wrap. We're gonna slide up out of here. I do apologize for the technical difficulties. It sounds like I finally got it together in the last 10 minutes of the show. Big E, appreciate you sliding through. Greasy Don, appreciate you jumping in, sliding through, you know what I'm saying, coming down. Juice Man Boogie, he gave us a Calvin Ridley story. Probably gonna do something for the women on the next show. Got the
I
women's
thought about
month.
that, Doc. I thought about that, but
Some for the ladies.
yeah,
Something for the ladies.
women,
Something for the
women
ladies.
want,
If
yeah.
you Google the 1982 women's Final Four, the 1982 women's Final Four, a story that might shock you a little bit, might surprise you. There has been an HBCU that has went toe to toe with the big dogs, and they almost
Mm,
won the whole thing.
mhm.
What?
Yes, sir. It's a good story. No
Almost won the
scholarship players either.
no showers, no nothing, and they almost won the whole thing, and they busted some brackets. I mean, they were sending the number one seeds home left and right.
Brackets back then.
They had brackets. It was so bad they didn't even put the sisters on the front. They was busting teams up so bad. I guess the program directors or whatever got so mad they didn't even put the sisters on front of the program at the Final Four.
I'm not gonna pull a Don Imus in here, so I'm gonna keep it 100.
And at that rate, that is a sign. It's time to go. We gonna holler at y'all. This is the Just Do It Sports Show. That's every Friday night. That audio will be out. We're gonna drop that Friday. That's 8 p.m. Anchor FM, Spotify, Google, our podcast, wherever you get it. Hey, fellas, I appreciate it. We're gonna run this thing back next week. We'll holler.